In the ancient kingdom of Umeru, Queen Ogadiya sat on the throne beside King Ukonu the Just, her face regal, her eyes hollow. Year after year, she dressed in the finest beads, oversaw harvest festivals, and danced at moonlit feasts. Yet her womb remained silent. The royal matriarchs whispered, the villagers judged, and the throne room echoed with the shame of a queen who bore no heir. On the seventh year of her childlessness, Queen Ogadiya disappeared into the forest for 3 nights. When she returned, her white wrapper was stained with ashes, her feet dusty from sacred ground. She brought no words, only a quiet tear, and within 2 moons her belly swelled. The kingdom rejoiced. The gods have remembered us, they cried. But Ogadiya knew the truth. She had entered the forbidden grove of Ishiala, the ancient spirit of flame and fertility. There she had begged, wept, and bargained, and Ishiala had answered with one condition: when the child becomes woman, on the night of her 18th full moon, you shall return her to the flame. If you do not, the fire shall claim her on its own. Ogadiya agreed. She never told the king, and so the child was born, a girl with a strange red birthmark in the shape of a flame coiling round her left shoulder. They named her Adaugo, daughter of the Hiku, and indeed she soared. 17 harvests came and went. Adaugo, now a graceful young woman, walked through the palace halls like moonlight over water, elegant, warm, yet untouchable. Her beauty was the kind that made village girls envious and princes foolish. She spoke with wisdom far beyond her years and carried herself like a queen in waiting. But something had changed. The closer she drew to her 18th full moon, the stranger her world became. Strange signs began. It started with the animals. One morning, the palace goats refused to come near her. Chickens squawked and flew off in wild panic whenever she passed. Even the royal cat, Obulu, once her favorite, hissed and clawed when she tried to touch it. Then the dreams came. Every night, she stood in a forest of red trees, surrounded by whispering winds that didn't speak but hummed. A flame floated before her like a candle. Each time she reached out, it grew taller, hotter, louder. She would wake up sweating, no matter how cold the night. Queen Ogadiya watched her daughter with the eyes of a mother and a woman burdened by secrets. She would smile when Adaugo smiled, laugh when she laughed, but every morning she sent a guard to check if the girl had burst into flames overnight. She began fasting quietly, visiting the palace shrine at night, pouring libation into the earth and whispering, I kept my promise for 17 years. Spare her, Ishiala, please. But she knew the spirit of fire kept no debts unpaid. During the Udu festival, Adaugo was chosen to lead the closing dance. Hundreds gathered in the palace square. As drums roared and flutes danced, she stepped forward, lifted her arms, and as she began to dance, the crowd gasped. Sparks flew from her feet. Every spin lit the sand beneath her. Her scarf caught fire at the edges, yet she danced on, smiling, unaware. The others rose. The king looked stunned. The queen almost collapsed. When the music stopped, the fire died. Adaugo bowed, and for the first time in her life, the people stepped back instead of forward. That night, Queen Ogadiya locked herself in her chambers and wept. The full moon that would mark Adaugo's 18th birthday was just 7 nights away, and deep in the forbidden forest, embers stirred beneath ancient soil. The night after the festival, silence fell heavily over the palace. The guards whispered. The palace maids walked with fear in their eyes, and the drums of Umeru, usually echoing with celebration, had gone still, as if even they feared to speak. But King Ukonu the Just did not sleep. He sat alone in his private chamber, staring into the dancing flame of his oil lamp. Over and over, he saw it, Adaugo's feet sparking against the ground, her scarf curling with it, the way the crowd recoiled as though she had become something unnatural. His heart, once full of pride, now beat with unease. He summoned Obidike, the palace's oldest record keeper. "Tell me, old one," the king said, "have we ever had such a sign during a royal dance? A maiden whose steps spark fire?" The old man bowed and replied cautiously, "No, my king, not unless the gods have returned to collect a promise." The king frowned. "What do you mean?" Obidike hesitated, then leaned closer. Long ago, it was said that if a child was born through the grove of Ishiala, the spirit would come to claim what was owed once the child reached full womanhood. It is forbidden, my king. A womb that burns with such a pact must be returned. Ukonu sat back slowly, his jaw tightening. Who would dare enter Ishiala? The queen never told me of such things. Obedike bowed again. Some pacts are made in silence, your majesty. That night, the king entered the queen's chamber without knocking. He found her on her knees, facing the open window, praying under her breath. "So it is true," Ukonu said quietly. "You went into the grove." The queen froze, her fingers still wet with palm oil from a secret libation. She rose slowly, her voice barely a whisper. "I did it. For the kingdom, for you, for the throne. I begged the gods, and they answered." "At what cost, Ogadiya?" he snapped, stepping forward. "Did you think I would choose an heir over my own daughter's life?" Ogadiya wept openly. "I thought I would find a way. I thought the gods would forget." The king turned away, fist clenched. "And now the gods are remembering. There are now 6 nights until Adaugo's 18th full moon. The king calls a secret council of elders. One of them warns. Once the fire begins within, nothing can stop it, not even love, not even power, only a greater sacrifice or a miracle. And far away in her chambers, Adaugo wakes up to find her bed sheet burnt at the corners, though no candle had been lit. She stares at her glowing birthmark in the mirror, heart racing. What am I becoming? With 5 nights to her 18th full moon, Adaugo's body began to betray her. Her skin burned feverishly without a trace of illness. When she touched things, wood cracked, water hissed, and her clothes occasionally smoked. Even her voice, once gentle and melodic, now held a low hum beneath it, like distant thunder. She was no longer just a girl. She was becoming something else. Unable to endure the silence, Adaugo stormed into the royal chamber, her eyes blazing, not just with anger, but unknowable energy. "What is happening to me?" she cried. "Why do the birds flee from me? Why do my dreams burn me awake?" Queen Ogadiya collapsed in sobs. "Because you were not born like others." Then came the full confession, the grove, the bargain, the fire spirit, the promise, the death. Adaugo stared at her mother, trembling. "So I was never truly yours? You just borrowed me?" The king stepped forward, steady but shaking. "You are ours, my daughter, and I will not let any god, any spirit take you from us." That night, as the full moon drew closer, Adaugo's body caught fire in her sleep. Her screams lit the sky like thunder. Palace guards ran. Maids cried. The king burst into her room, only to find her floating above her bed, her body glowing red, yet untouched by the flame. The queen fell to her knees in the palace courtyard. "Ishiala, take me instead. She's just a child." But nothing happened. As the flames engulfed the room, Adaugo stopped screaming. She began to glow brighter, then brighter still, until the fire turned white. Suddenly, a voice echoed, not from the sky, but from within. You kept the fire alive for 18 years. You did not return her, but neither did you let her burn. The child has become more than a death. She is now the flame. In that moment, the fire vanished, and Adaogo floated to the ground, untouched, unburned, but forever changed. Her red birthmark now glowed like gold. Her eyes flickered with light. She turned slowly to her parents. The fire did not claim me. I became it. Months passed. Adaogo was crowned guardian of the sacred flame, not as queen, but as a bridge between mortals and spirits. She now walked barefoot in the forest without harm, and sick children healed when she placed her warm hands on their foreheads. She forgave her mother. The queen never fully forgave herself, but lived to see her daughter turn pain into power. And deep in the forbidden grove, the earth stayed still, for the gods knew the fire they planted had boomed.